So I was just talking to my wife about the video that James and I were just recording, and she was asking what he was talking about, and I told her that James was talking about the way we are kind of still waiting for God to do something in our lives because we think that the thing that he says he's done isn't exactly what we're needing. And so we all know the verse that Jesus said, like, it is finished. But we look around and we don't see it. And that's what James was talking about, was we see sickness, we see hurt in ourselves, or poor relationships, or conflicts in our relationships. And we think, okay, Jesus said he did something, and yet we're still walking around and it's really hard. So the thing he must have done was bought us a ticket to heaven. So we will go to heaven when we die, and we'll be, with God, and then we're all set. But what James and I are talking about is when Jesus said the work he did is finished, he really meant that. And we don't see it, which is unfortunate and strange. But James was talking about the problem not being that the work Jesus set out to do wasn't finished, but that our expectation of what that should look like isn't showing up. Even though his work was done, we think it's supposed to look like something else. If he really did what he did, then my kids wouldn't yell at me or fight with me. If he did what he did, then my spouse would appreciate me more. And I could see it, and I'm not being ungrateful. My spouse and I fight. So if he did it and he healed everything and he took away all of our pain, then why am I still experiencing it? And James was talking about that is something we're doing. And it sounds like harsh, or it sounds like we're stupid, or, who would pick to fight with their loved ones? Who would try to not get along with somebody, or be sick, like get cancer or anything like that? And I'll be honest, I don't fully have the answer, and I will make sure I bug James about that so that we can dig into it and understand it better. But I know that there are absolutely ways that we aren't seeing something that has been done for us, not because we're bad or wrong or anything, but just because we're tricked. We've got old habits, we've got old beliefs, and they just stay stuck with us. As I was talking to my wife, her and I were discussing a moment that she had a few years ago where she was praying and talking to God, and as best as she knew, prayer, as far as a lot of us can tell, is we're just kind of saying stuff, and we're hoping that God's hearing it, and most of us, I think, believe that he is in some form. But she was feeling like a really terrible mom, and she was praying about that and asking God what she needed to do to be a good mom. And she wasn't really hearing or feeling anything. And then she would ask again, what do I need to think different or whatever? And she was just kind of having this conversation with him about how she felt like she wasn't a good mom, and asking for his help about it. And finally, it occurred to her, and she said, God told her she could feel it inside of herself. He was saying, you aren't a bad mom, and I can't tell you that I'm going to fix something that isn't true. Like, and then she equated it with, it's like believing a unicorn exists, and you're walking around telling people, I have to hunt this unicorn, can you help me? And they're like, no, I can't help you. But you're convinced unicorns are real, so you say, why not? Why won't you help me? Don't you like me? Don't you care that I want to do this? And it's not that people don't like you or don't want to help you. It's that they cannot help you catch a unicorn because there isn't one to catch. And so, yeah, just wanted to kind of tie that in with what James was talking about the work that's already been finished and how we're not seeing it. And so hopefully that makes more sense or helps add to the sense that it already made.